Good afternoon. Nice to see so many of you here. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, graduating students, to the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology graduation ceremony. Thank you very much for joining us today. We have students graduating from OIST from all over the world. Over the previous year, we have 37 graduates. We're joined today by 25 graduates in person, another few who are with us online from various locations across the world. So it's very nice to have you all here with us today to celebrate their achievements. So to begin with, please rise for the academic procession. On flute, Taba Takako on violin, Tsutsui Megumu on viola, and Uehara Remi on cello. Thank you. So, as you know, OIST is located in Okinawa. The name gives it away. A region with its own long history and unique culture. So it's only fitting that we begin the ceremony with a traditional Okinawan piece that is used to mark auspicious occasions, such as this event today. Kajadi Fu is a celebratory song and dance for an auspicious and joyous occasion. So let me introduce the players and the dancers. The Sanshin music is by the OIST Sanshin group Chindamise, a group of OIST students and staff. They are, in no particular order, Jan Moren, Maya Ann Street, Maria Miller, Minae Uehara, Nick Shannon, Taku Arai, Tomomi Okubo, Yoshiki Ochiai, who is actually a graduate and graduating today, Florian Pflug, Risa Matsumura, and Hina Shinjo. And today's dancers are also all from OIST: Ami Chinen, Ayapuka, Chaki Chibana, Misato Matsuda, Hisano Nakamoto, and Ayumi Nagai. So for a little more explanation about the dance, let me pass the mic to Ayapuka and Misato Matsuda.
ぐすうよ中がなびら
Good afternoon, everyone.
生からワッターがヒージーから提出にソウルうちなぐちちかてイエサチうんぬきやびら
We would like to use Uchinaguchi, the indigenous language of Okinawa, for the introduction to this opening.
卒業するぐすうよかりゆしでびる
Congratulations to our graduates.
トゥチタチュセタレマヤイビッサや
Time really flies. We still remember when you first arrived at OIST, full of excitement as the new students.
ブッシュシンシーサビサイビーミ
Thomas, are you crying?
中ヌフクラシャやカジャデフモーティグスージサビラ
To celebrate your achievement, the joyful moments, and even the challenges you've faced in Okinawa, we will be performing kajadifu, a traditional dance of celebration.
うちなぬうどい卒業するぐすう4回海かきいせ中止うっさやいびるはじ
This may be your last opportunity to see our Ryukyuan dance in Okinawa.
やいびいしがなぬくとうちなぬくとわしみそうらんよくみさるとくまうてん学問ちばてくみそうり
We hope you carry a piece of honor and Okinawa in your heart as you embark on your new journey.
中夜島袋流千尋会の新シータンテーガニシクミソウちゃん一平にフェーデービタン
Our heartfelt thanks to Shimabukuru Chihirokai for preparing the dancers' costumes and makeup for today's performance.
とアンシェカジャデフモーティカリーチキヤビラ
Now, let's celebrate the new beginnings of our graduates with Kajadifu.
thank you all for that impressive dance and the music. I'm sure you could all feel the joy expressed through that. So let's show once again how we enjoyed that. All right, so to begin today's ceremony, please allow me to welcome to the stage the President of the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology Graduate University, Karen Makides.
It is a great honor to welcome many distinguished guests. You are here today with us and to celebrate this special occasion. So, good afternoon and very warm welcome to our most important event of this year, the 2026 graduate ceremony of the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology. In addition to the many distinguished guests, we also warmly welcome the college and friends from the OIST community. We welcome also the proud parents, family members, and friends of our dear graduates. And finally, and most importantly, the reason we are all here today, please join me in giving a big round of applause for OIST new graduates. What a joy it is to celebrate your achievements with you, dear graduates. All those here to support you and in your life beyond our university, they all must be so very proud of you. So make a moment and think of everyone who has inspired and helped you to get here. Today, you represent 17 nationalities, and your work has spanned 27 research units at OIST. Today marks more than just your success in achieving a doctorate degree. It includes a dedicated and highly challenged period of your life, filled with personal, professional, and intellectual growth. Here at OIST, you have been steeped in research excellence. You have contributed to a scientific community that is both intellectually rigorous and deeply collaborative. I'm sure that you have experienced setbacks in this journey. Outcomes which led you to question your work and direction, and that you managed to turn around to build character. Remember these experiences as critical learning along the way to this day of celebration and recognition. Hopefully, much more often, there also has been a deep satisfaction of progress. Now you head into a wider world as confident researchers, thoughtful and curious scientists, and emerging leaders. And you will need this maturity. Think of your PhD as much more than a degree. It has equipped you with a set of skills to guide you through your life. You will have friendship and collaborations which you will cherish and revisit again and again. Continue to support and build on this network. It will be important. I hope the place you go next will allow you to shine with freedom and time to research beyond the horizon. Your intellectual creativity is stimulating risk-taking and the ability to make impactful leaps forward if you mix freedom with responsibility. I hope you will grow and advance your career in an environment which models respectful and supportive behavior. And wherever you go, always remember to look outwards. Put yourself at the intersection of public, private, local, and global interests. Combine your creativity and courage with others that are different than you. And together with them, use a system-wide awareness to define smart design solutions. This takes proactive work and time, and cannot be self-interested or solo endeavor. Through collaboration, based on trust, you can become a change agent for a resilient future. It is not a small task, but I believe that OIST PhDs can meet this challenge. So please stay curious, continue to observe the world around you, and ask important questions. Finally, a most important word from me to you. We are all incredibly proud of you and thrilled to welcome you into our growing global alumni network. I look forward to catching up with you around the world as I work to support engagement and recognition of OIST's unique model in the world in the years ahead. So, with that said, best wishes, dear graduates, for a bright and impactful future. And again, congratulations on your success today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, President Markides. So today we acknowledge and appreciate the continued support of the Cabinet Affairs Office. Now we are pleased to hear via a video message from the Minister for Okinawa and Northern Territories Affairs, Hitoshi Kikawada.
Good afternoon. I'm Hitoshi Kikawada, Minister of Okinawa and Northern Territories Affairs. Distinguished guests, members of the faculty, families, and graduates. It is a great honor to extend my heartfelt congratulations to the graduates on the successful completion of doctoral programs. I commend the graduates for your bravery in academics. I am keenly aware of the rigor and discipline demanded by your journey towards the doctorate, because I have once been engaged in academic research myself. I understand that you needed to identify questions that have yet to be fully explored. You needed to build upon the accumulated scholarship of those who have come before you, standing, as it is often said, on the shoulders of giants. And you needed to confront challenges and limitations with intellectual honesty. Through this process, you have transformed inquiry into original, lasting contributions to human knowledge. The ability you have cultivated are of enduring value. You have acquired the capacity to identify previously unexplored but critical problems, to pursue their solution through rigorous research, and to generate new knowledge. These capacities will serve you well, not only in academia, but also in industry, public service, and other fields where careful analysis and innovation are essential. I sincerely hope that you will apply these strengths along your chosen path and contribute to the continued advancement of society. OIST was established with the mission of pursuing research and education at the best in the world here in Okinawa, thereby contributing both to the sustainable development of Okinawa and to the global advancement of science and technology. Cabinet Office has provided consistent support for OIST, including financial assistance. And Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi also holds OIST in particularly high regard. I had the opportunity to visit OIST earlier this year, and I was deeply impressed by the dedication of researchers and innovators, as well as by the environment and institutional structures that foster excellence. It became clear to me that these are the essentials for the outstanding achievements we celebrate today. I also heard from Mr. Yoshimi Nagahama, the mayor of Onna Village, about ongoing efforts to encourage startup activity and expand an innovation cluster connected to OIST. Expectations for this university continue to grow, not only within Okinawa, but also across Japan's academic and industrial communities and the world. To the graduates, I encourage you to carry forward the strong tradition of OIST. I hope that you will continue to contribute to world-class research and education in science and technology, as well as to the further advancement of Okinawa, whether through collaborative research, entrepreneurial initiatives, or other form of engagement. May you continue to link knowledge with practice and discovery with meaningful impact. I would also like to extend my sincere congratulations to the family of the graduates, to President Markidis and Dr. Vijay, Chair of Board of Governors, to the member of Board of the Governors and Board of Councillors, to the faculty, staff, and students of OIST, and last but not least, to the people of Okinawa Prefecture. OIST plays a vital role in fostering a strong and flourishing economy and in building an innovation ecosystem grounded in academic excellence. During my visit, I was encouraged to see the university steadily advancing toward the full realization of its potential. I wish to express my deep respect and gratitude to all those who have devoted their efforts to this ambitious and forward-looking endeavor. As I noted in the guest book, I sincerely hope that your voyage ahead will be fruitful and fulfilling, marked by excellence in research, shared with the world. Once again, congratulations on your achievements, and may your future endeavors continue to advance knowledge and benefit society. February 27th, 2026, Hitoshi Kikawa.
We thank you for those kind and encouraging words. I also acknowledge the shisa in the background. And now, we must also recognise the tremendous support over the years since our founding from the Okinawa Prefectural Government. And we are honoured to hear today from the Okinawa Prefectural Governor Denny Tamaki, who is represented by Mikio Takemura, the Deputy Director General of Planning and Coordination. Takamura-san.
皆様、本日は、ご卒業おめでとうございます。沖縄県企画部企画調整統括官の竹村と申します。本日は知事が、県議会開会中で出席が叶いませんので、私が知事から祝辞を預かってまいりましたので、代読をさせていただきます。
Congratulations to you all. Today, the Governor Tamaki is attending the Prefectural Council, so on behalf of him, I, the Deputy Director General of Planning and Coordination, I'm going to read his congratulatory speech.
ハイサイグスーヨーチューガナビラ。
Good afternoon to each and every one of you. Today, I'd like to offer my sincere wishes.
本日、沖縄科学技術大学院大学第8回学位授与式が盛大に執り行われますことを心よりお喜び申し上げます。学位期を授与される修了生の皆様、誠におめでとうございます。また、これまで修了生の皆様を支えてこられたご家族の皆様をはじめ、OISTの教職員、関係者の皆様に対しましても、心からお祝いを申し上げます。
It is my great honor and heartfelt pleasure to extend my congratulations on the occasion of the 8th graduation ceremony of the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology Graduate University. To all the graduates receiving your degrees today, my warmest congratulations. I would also like to offer my deepest appreciation and congratulations to your families who have supported you throughout your journey, as well as to the faculty, staff, and all members of the OIST community.
本日、学位を授与される皆様は、世界が大きな転換期にある中で、研究生活を送ってこられました。気候変動や環境問題など、地球規模の課題が複雑化し、国際情勢の変化や不確実性の高まりなど、先行きの見通しが難しい時代にあっても、皆様はたゆまぬ努力を積み重ねて、学問、研究を続けてこられました。その研鑽の日々に深い敬意を表します。
Those of you receiving degrees today have pursued your research during a time of profound global transformation. As climate change, environmental challenges, and other complex global issues intensify, and as international circumstances grow more uncertain, you have continued your academic endeavors with unwavering dedication and perseverance. I express my deepest respect for your steadfast commitment and tireless efforts.
こうした時代だからこそ、科学技術が果たす役割は、これまで以上に重要性を増しております。OIST は設立以来、世界最先端の研究環境と多様なバックグラウンドを持つ研究者が集う国際的な学術拠点として、着実にその評価を高めてまいりました。ノーベル賞受賞者をはじめとする優れた研究成果の創出は、沖縄のみならず、世界にとっての大きな財産であり、県民にとっても誇りであります。
It is precisely in times such as these that the role of science and technology becomes even more vital. Since its inauguration, OIST has steadily built up its standing as an international academic hub with a state-of-the-art facility, offering a world-class research environment and bringing scholars from diverse backgrounds. The outstanding achievements produced here, including work by the Nobel laureate, are great assets not only to Okinawa but to the world, and a source of deep pride for the people of Okinawa.
OIST が立地するここ沖縄は、豊かな自然に恵まれるとともに、多様性を尊重し、平和を希求する独自の文化を育んできました。研究生活を通じて、皆様もこの沖縄の風土や人々の思いに触れる機会があったことと思います。OIST で培った国際的なネットワークや沖縄データ、経験は、今後皆様が世界の各地で活躍される上で、かけがえのない支えとなることでしょ
う。Here in Okinawa, blessed with abundant natural beauty, a unique culture has flourished, one that cherishes diversity and earnestly aspires toward peace. Through your research life, I believe that you've had opportunities to experience the spirit of this island and the heartfelt thoughts of Okinawan people. The international networks you have built at OIST, together with the experiences you have gained in Okinawa, will surely serve as invaluable support as you embark on your future endeavors across the globe.
修了生の皆様には、それぞれの道を進む中で、異なる背景を持った仲間と培った温かい絆や沖縄とのつながりをどうか忘れず、科学技術の力をさまざまな課題解決に生かし、持続可能で平和な社会の実現に貢献されることを期待しております。
As you proceed along your chosen careers, I encourage you to take with you the warm bonds forged with colleagues of diverse backgrounds, as well as your enduring connection to Okinawa. May you apply the power of science and technology to address the many challenges facing our world and contribute to the realization of a sustainable and peaceful society.
結びに栄えある門出を迎えられた修了生の皆様の前途が希望に満ちたものとなりますよう、心から祈念いたしますとともに、ご列席の皆様のご健勝を祈り、お祈り申し上げ、お祝いの言葉といたします。令和8年2月27日、沖縄県知事玉城デニー、代読でございました。
In closing, I sincerely pray that the distinguished graduates before us today will find their futures filled with hope and promise. I also extend my best wishes for the continued health and well-being for all those in attendance. Congratulations. February 27th, 2026, Governor of Okinawa Prefecture, Deni Tamaki.
Again, thank you for your message and for your continued support. Actually, we look forward to working in the future with both the national and the prefectural government as we contribute to the development of Okinawa and Japan. Now it's my pleasure to turn to the commencement address. It's an important part of any graduation ceremony. It's a message of recognition, a message of encouragement, and a message of welcome to our new graduates. Today's honoured speaker will be introduced by the President, Karen Marquez.
It is now my great pleasure to introduce our very special commencement speaker for this year, Mr. Senapathy Chris Gopalakrishnan. Recognized globally as a business and technology thought leader, Chris served as a vice chairman of Infosys, a leading multinational technology company from 2011 to 2014. And as a chief executive officer and managing director before that, from 2007 to 2011. He is currently chairman of the Accelor Venture, an accelerator supporting early-stage startups. Chris chairs the Council of the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and the Board of Governors at the International Institute of Information Technology, Bangalore. He also leads several key initiatives, including the Vision Group of Information Technology for the Government of Karnataka and the Reserve Bank of India Innovation Hub and the Confederation of Indian Industry Center of Excellence in Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Startups. His leadership has earned numerous accolades. He was named top CEO IT service in Institutional Investors' inaugural ranking of Asia's top executives and honored with the Asian Corporate Director Recognition Award by Corporate Governance Asia in 2011. He served as president of the Confederation of India Industry in 2013 to 14 and was a co-chair of the World Economic Forum in Davos in 2014. In 2011, the government of India awarded him the Padma Bhushan, the national third highest civil honor. Chris is deeply committed to advancing research in brain science and aging-related disorders. While by actively investing in startups and the broader entrepreneurial ecosystem. He holds a master's degree in physics and computer science from the Indian Institute of Technology in Madras and is a fellow of the Indian National Academy of Engineers and an honorary fellow of Institution of Electronic and Telecommunication Engineers. A long-time supporter of OIST, he served as in OIST Board of Governors from 2017 to 2025. And now, with all this fantastic background, we are so eager to hear you, Chris, and please join me in giving Chris a warm welcome, please.
Members of the board, the president, distinguished faculty, honored guests, proud families, and OIST doctoral graduates. Today marks the culmination of an extraordinary journey. It's a day of ritual and applause, but beneath the ceremony lies a profound transition. You have endured the solitude of the laboratory and the silence of the library. You have faced the blank page, the failed experiment, the searching critique of your peers. You've known the particular frustration of a hypothesis that refuses to hold, and the particular joy of one that does. And you emerged from that crucible with a genuine contribution to the sum of human knowledge. The world awaiting you is unsettled. We live in what scholars have begun to call a polycrisis, an era in which multiple stresses interact and amplify one another. The post-Cold War international order is fracturing. Supply chains are being redrawn by mistrust. Climate systems are entering territory for which we have no historical precedent. And we stand on the threshold of machine intelligence that may, for the first time in history, outpace our ability to govern it. But what defines your specific moment is not instability alone. It is velocity. Change is no longer incremental. It is exponential. And so beneath today's celebration, a quiet question hangs in the air. I've heard it in boardrooms and in faculties. Perhaps you have heard it in your own minds. Will artificial intelligence diminish the value of a PhD? It's a question that deserves serious introspection. And it's particularly apt here at OIST, an institution created precisely to operate at the edge of scientific and societal change. To answer it, I must first take you into the past. My relationship with Japan goes back to the early 2000s. I visited regularly, working with the leadership of major Japanese corporations. I witnessed immense discipline, a culture of perfectionism, engineering without equal. But I also heard a persistent complaint. Japan was slow. The world was accelerating, and Japan was hesitating. In computing and telecommunications, Japan looked inward. It built remarkable devices, mobile phones that could process payments and stream television long before the smartphone era. But they could only communicate within the Japanese network. The result was what came to be called the Galapagos effect, an ecosystem perfectly adapted to its domestic environment, but incompatible with the rest of the world. While the world converged on open standards and open internet, Japan maintained proprietary walls. It pursued hardware perfection while the world shifted to software agility. It optimized for depth within a closed system when the reward was going to those who built open platforms. These were not merely technical decisions. They were cultural ones, made by leaders who were maybe afraid of shaking the system too much, too fast. And the cost was high. Japan, the nation that had defined the electronics era, missed the information revolution. It watched as other innovation centers became the engines of the new economy, while its own great firms struggled to adapt. I watched this unfold. It is precisely why, when the opportunity arose to join the Board of Governors of OIST, I did not hesitate. You must understand how audacious this experiment is. Most universities evolve over centuries. OIST was willed into existence to solve a specific national problem within a single generation. Visionaries like Minister Koji Omi understood that the 21st century would not be built on concrete. It would be built on intellect. For decades following Okinawa's reversion in 1972, the economic model here had been one of dependence on public works, on physical infrastructure funded from the center. They saw the model reaching its limits, and they chose to replace it with something more durable, a systematic cultivation of human knowledge at the highest level. They created an institution designed from its foundation to prevent the Galapagos effect from ever taking root again. Interdisciplinary by design, dismantling the silos that kept physicists from biologists and engineers from ecologists. Global by default, with English as its working language, ensuring that no idea developed here would ever be isolated from the international conversation, and structurally independent from the hierarchies that have too often stifled young researchers in traditional academic systems. It was a gamble. There were many who predicted failure, but looking at you today, I can say with certainty the gamble has paid off. You are not merely graduates, you are the result of a national strategy to pivot from isolation to integration, from building bridges of steel to building bridges of knowledge. Every major technological leap has challenged the prevailing definition of expertise. The printing press transferred the power of memory from the scholar to the page. The calculator displaced the accountant's arithmetic. The internet dissolved the librarian's monopoly on access to information. Each time, a specific skill lost its value. Each time, a deeper capability gained importance in its place. While technology consistently does is compress execution and expose judgment. Artificial intelligence is the most powerful compression mechanism we have ever built. Tasks that might have occupied a doctoral student for months, reviewing a body of literature, cleaning a complex data set, drafting and iterating code, can now be completed in minutes. If PhD were merely a certificate of endurance, proof of sustained cognitive labor, then yes, its value would be in jeopardy. But that's not what a PhD is, and that's not what this world needs. A doctorate was never intended to certify speed. It was intended to certify discernment. Let us be precise about where that boundary lies. Artificial intelligence excels at the how, processing vast data sets, optimizing structures, recognizing patterns at scales no humans can match. In scientific research, these capabilities are transformative. They will accelerate the cure of diseases and design of clean energy systems. But artificial intelligence does not know why. It does not determine which problems are worth solving in the first place. It cannot understand the social context of a community or the moral weight of a decision. It cannot take responsibility for the consequences of an error, and it does not possess intent. It does not know who is affected by the answer, or when restraint is wiser than progress. Recall the Galapagos error. The engineering was brilliant, the execution was superb, but the judgment was wrong. No algorithm could have told those executives that they were isolating themselves from the world. That required human understanding of global dynamics, an understanding that was absent. This is the level at which you must now operate. The decisions that will define the coming decades remain yours. AI will not make them for you. It will, however, make it unmistakably clear that you are willing to make them well. For much of 20th century, the doctorate represented mastery of a narrow frontier. The goal was production, add one new verified grain of sand to the mountain of human understanding. That remains necessary, but it's no longer sufficient. We live in an age of knowledge abundance. Data is plentiful, computation is cheap. What is scarce today is not answers. What is scarce is trust. In a world where AI systems can generate plausible falsehoods and computational hallucinations can contaminate the scientific record, credibility has become a form of infrastructure. Society requires individuals who not only produce knowledge, but validate it, who ensure that technology serves human ends rather than the reverse. The PhD is evolving from a credential of knowledge production to a credential of knowledge stewardship. And here, Japan is uniquely positioned to lead this transition. Despite the missteps of the digital era, Japan has retained something the broader world is at risk of losing: a deep cultural commitment to craftsmanship, a respect for social continuity, and a patient accumulation of reliability. In a world racing towards speed, Japan understands quality. In a world intoxicated with disruption for its own sake, Japan values getting things right. Combined with the openness of interdisciplinarity and the global orientation that OIST was built to embody, this is a genuine, powerful formula, not merely for academic excellence, but for the kind of trusted, human-centered innovation the world urgently needs. Trust and wisdom, however, are not end in themselves. They are the foundations on which impact must be built. OIST was not conceived as a monument to pure inquiry. It was conceived as an engine of economic and social transformation for Okinawa and for Japan. That mission does not diminish fundamental research. It completes it by insisting that discovery does not stop at the laboratory bench. The distance between finding and a world that needs it must be shortened. A result that improves the lives of 10 million people is not less rigorous than one cited by 10 colleagues, is more complete. Whether it's a material that reduces carbon dependency, a therapeutic that targets the biology of aging, an AI model that extends access to education across linguistic and economic barriers, you must force your work into the world. Pursue the patent, the partnership, the enterprise, or the policy that takes your findings from the page into practice. This is how you honor the investment this island, this institution, and this nation have made in you. You enter the world at a rare inflection point, a moment that when the tools of inquiry have never been more powerful and when the questions that matter have never required more wisdom to navigate. Use those tools without hesitation. Let AI compress the mechanical work of scholarship. Let it accelerate your experiments and surface your literature. Embrace every capability that allows you to see further and move faster, but never surrender your authority to them. When you face a problem, ask the machine to approach it. Then ask yourself why it matters, who it affects, what it costs, and whether it ought to be done at all. That second question is yours alone. It always will be. OIST trained you to work across disciplines, to think in the language of the world, and to resist the comfort of intellectual isolation. This is exactly the disposition this moment demands. The Galapagos effect was not merely a failure of technology strategy, it was a failure of openness, a failure to engage with the world beyond familiar borders. Let us not repeat it. Engage fully, break down the walls between fields and between peoples. Translate your expertise into solutions that communities, industries, and governments can actually use. Your degree does not certify that you can outperform a machine. It certifies something far more durable, that you can think responsibly in a world shaped by machines, that you can be trusted with questions the machines cannot ask, that you have the judgment to know when to proceed, the integrity to know when to stop, and the courage to act when it matters. You are the generation that must hold the line between speed of technology and the wisdom of humanity. That's not a burden. It is the defining privilege of this moment in history. So congratulations, OIST graduates. The world is waiting. Let the force be with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chris. Profound words, and I really hope our graduates benefit from your deep insight into some of the biggest challenges they will face. At this point, I'd like to once again thank Deputy Director Takamura for his kind words today and to acknowledge the continued support of the Okinawa Prefecture Government. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in that case, at this point, let's take a break. We will reconvene in about 10 minutes. We'll make a message over the announcement, so please listen out for that. Thank you. I should. Yeah, you're right.
I really think so.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would take your seats, we will reconvene in about 2 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back. Right. So before we dive back in, I would like to read a few messages. First of all, we are honoured to have in attendance Ms. Sachika Takara, Member of the House of Councillors. And we would also like now to present some congratulatory messages received from leaders across various sectors on the occasion of today's graduation ceremony. First, I'll read a message from Mr. Kisaburo Tokai, the acting chairman of the LDP League for the Future of OIST. To all the graduates of the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology, congratulations on your graduation. You have devoted yourself to your studies in a cutting-edge research environment, and I offer my heartfelt congratulations on this new chapter in your lives. I am confident that the knowledge and curiosity you have cultivated, along with the bonds that you have formed with your peers, will guide you on your future paths and enable you to bring new value to the world. As you graduate from OIST, I look forward to seeing you spread your wings and make your mark on the global stage. I wish you continued success and good health in the years ahead. The LDP League for the Future of OIST, Acting Chair, Kisaburo Tokai. Next, we have a message from Dr. Ikue Kina, President of the University of the Ryukyus. And he says, I extend my heartfelt congratulations on this graduation ceremony. I celebrate the bright and boundless futures of all the graduates and wish for the continued growth and success of your esteemed university. February 27, 2026. And we have also received congratulatory messages from Konosuke Kokuba, Chairperson of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Member of the House of Representatives, from Mr. Takuo Komori, Secretary General of the LDP League for the Future of OIST and a member of the House of Representatives, and also from Mr. Kiyoshi Ejima, Acting Chairperson of the LDP Policy Board in the House of Councillors and a member of the House of Councillors. Thank you for those messages. So, now it is time for us to turn to our recent graduates. So please join with me in recognition of their achievements and appreciation as they receive their PhD diploma and hood. Let's not forget, too, that all of these students have also had to deal with the added burden over the last few years of limited resources, self-isolation and travel restrictions during the COVID years, so making these achievements even greater. Well done all. I now call on Professor Thomas Bush, the Dean of the Graduate School, to preside over the awards and first to give us some context to these achievements. Professor Bush.
Dear graduates, families, friends, and members of the OIST community, before we start the conferring of your degrees today, I also want to take a brief moment to reflect with you and express my sincere thanks and hopes. Over the past years, graduates, you've shared with us some of your most demanding and defining experiences. You arrived at OIST 5 or so years ago with curiosity and with ambition. You now leave as trained scientists, as independent thinkers, and as people now entrusted with real-world responsibilities. As already Harry pointed out, these years were not easy. You worked in uncertainty from many different directions. You faced problems in science that resisted answers. You took intellectual risks, you experienced failure, you adapted, and you tried again. That process is what defines you as researchers. And through it, you created knowledge that didn't exist before. You also learned about the practical realities of modern science, having to do collaborations across different time zones, resilience under deadlines and deadline extensions, and the importance of community. And yes, it wouldn't be my speech if I did not mention the sustaining power of snacks. You leave OIST with more than a degree. You leave it with a memory of difficult work done honestly, with friendships formed across cultures and across disciplines, and with membership in a global scientific community that will always be there for you. We often say, and you've heard it today, that universities educate the leaders of tomorrow. But that framing might no longer fit this moment. In fact, you are stepping into leadership now, at a time when public trust in science is increasingly under attack by political, economical, and national security interests. You are graduating into a world where evidence is questioned, where expertise is politicized, and scientific institutions are sometimes treated as obstacles rather than foundations, where misinformation sometimes travels faster than peer review, and where long-term thinking struggles against short-term gain for status, where attention has become the economy. This reality places responsibilities on you. Wherever you go, if you go to academia, to industry, to government, or other paths that you will create yourself, you will be trusted with data and decisions that actually affect real people's lives. Your degree gives you the responsibility to match this trust with integrity, with courage, and with a willingness to speak clearly when evidence is ignored or distorted. Society does not only need more knowledge. It needs people willing to defend how knowledge is produced, how it's evaluated, and how it's used. We are happy that you will join us in being these kind of people. You are now part of OIST story, and your work reflects directly on what this institution stands for. You helped build this community, you helped strengthen this culture, and you demonstrated what international and interdisciplinary science can look like at its best. We hope you will remain connected to OIST and to one another. We take pride in following your path, and we will continue to support you as our colleagues in our shared mission. I also want to thank the faculty, staff, and friends and families who supported you. None of us succeeds alone, and today's achievements reflects also a collective effort. So we celebrate not only what you've accomplished, but what you are now prepared and entrusted to do. Go forward with courage, hold fast your evidence, protect curiosity, and use your knowledge in service of us all, of society. We are proud of you, we are very proud of you, and we look forward to what will you help shape next. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Professor Bush. Now, I will call on the students one by one, in order of their graduation, to come to the stage to receive their degree from the President. And the hood will then be placed by the Dean. If the student cannot be with us today, and there are several, the Dean will accept the degree on their behalf. I'd like to invite to the stage the President to award the degree and the Dean to place the hood. Our first graduate is not with us today, unfortunately, but he will probably be appearing online. Mohammed El-Tabal. Congratulations, Mohammed. He worked in the laboratory of Professor Bernd Kuhn, and he looked at cerebellar control of interceptive motor behavior in head-fixed mice. Mohammed El-Tabal. Congratulations. The next graduate is with us today, and he is James Osborne. Come on down. James Osborne worked with Professor Fujie Tanaka, and he looked at catalytic bond formation reactions at the gamma position of beta ketophosphonates, asymmetric Mannich reactions, and formal aldol condensation reactions. That took me a long time to read. Congratulations, James. Next, also online, hello, Akil Shakir. Akil Shakir worked with Professor Elliot Fried, and she looked at the effects of incompatible distortion rates in fluid dynamics. Next with us is Alexei... I beg your pardon. Next with us is Alexei Velezhanin. Alexei worked with Professor Sheila Nikomak, and he looked at light interaction with cold rubidium atoms, ground and Rydberg states, via an optical nanofiber and in an optical resonator. Our next graduate, Ivan Shpurov, is not with us, but he worked with Professor Tom Fröse on the analysis of collective dynamics in social groups with bees and football players as case studies. Ivan Shpurov. Our next graduate today, Tatiana Gridneva. Tatiana Gridneva worked with Julia Kuznetsova, so you'll know that the title of the thesis is going to be long. Development of red emissive mechanoresponsive polymers incorporating dynamic photoluminescent copper-1 pyridinophane arylamide mechanophores. Congratulations, Tatiana. And here they're able to approach a camera and say hi to the web, including their family, which is great. Our next graduate, Mao Ting Shu. Shu Mao Ting worked with Professor Jeff Wickens and co-supervised by Kazumasa Tanaka. He's not with us, but he worked on cholinergic interneurons of the dorsomedial striatum and how they mediate winner-loser effects on social hierarchy dynamics. Next, present with us, but only online, Xiaochen Fu. Fu Xiaochen worked with Professor Fukunaga, and she was looking at stimulus encoding in the olfactory bulb using synthetic olfactory stimuli. Congratulations, Xiaochen. Our next graduate is with us today. This is Yuki Tara. So Yuki Tara was sponsored by Vincent Lauder and was co-supervised by Tadashi Yamamoto. He looked at the critical role of YTHDF2 and CCR4 NOT complex in pancreatic beta cell homeostasis. Our next graduate is not with us, but Akira Kawano. He worked in the lab of Professor Ichiro Masai, but was, I think, mostly supervised by Professor Greg Stevens. He was looking at decomposing predictive information in social dynamics. Our next graduate, Tanomi Yamamura. Tanomi Yamamura worked with Professor Jeff Wickens. He looked at the effects of exogenous testosterone on the estrous cycle, impulsivity, and dopamine transmission in female rats. Munisa Sadukova. Munisa worked with Professor Hidetoshi Saze, and she looked at epigenetic regulation of cold stress response and memory in Arabidopsis thaliana. Our next graduate is also with us today, Ishan Chung. Ishan Chung worked with Professor Kenji Doya, and she looked at information theoretical analysis of team dynamics in football matches, as you do. Congratulations, Ishan. Next with us online is Ilhem Nadia Rabei. Ilhem Rabei, he worked with Professor Mahesh Bandi, but previously her professor was Yabing Chi. She looked at exploring the properties of whole transport materials for perovskite solar cells. Congratulations. Our next student is with us today, Jiahao Zhang. Jiahao Zhang was most recently supervised by Professor Ryota Kabe, but previously by Professor Yabing Chi. And he looked at from bottom to top interfaces and layers, the holistic engineering approach for efficient, stable, and large area NIP structured perovskite solar cells. There are many empty chairs, but that's okay. Most of the remaining people are with us today, including Nono Hasagawa. Working in the laboratory of Professor David Armitage, she looked at spatial population genetics of tripartite arthropod symbioses. Congratulations, Nono-san. Dan Kozome. Working with Professor Laurino, he studied the exploration and engineering of protein sequence space via insertions and deletions. Congratulations, Dan. Next, and we heard from him earlier, Yoshiki Ochiai. Another student working with Professor Laurino, he was exploring and engineering DNA-RNA methyltransferases for the development of RNA labeling tools. Congratulations, Yoshiki. Next with us today is Lazat Aibekova. She worked with Professor Evan Economo on the evolution and functional morphology of the ant Misosoma. Online today with us right now is Samnia Hend. Hend Samnia. Working with Gail Tripp on the language use, monitoring and repair in the social and narrative discourse of children with and without ADHD. Congratulations, Hend. Our next student is with us today, Soon Tae. Soon Tae was a student of Hiroki Takahashi, and he studied ion trapping with a laser-written 3D miniaturized monolithic linear Paul trap. Congratulations. Margarita Dronova. Working with Professor Yejun Feng, she studied controlled evolutions between anti-ferromagnetism and spin glass. Sam Kure. Sam Kure was a student of Simone Pigalotti, and he looked at non-Markovian epidemic spreading on complex networks. Next with us today is Jan Grasic. Jan studied with Professor Kono, and he looked at time-resolved proteomic analysis of plasma membrane damage-dependent senescence. And nice to see you with us online, Cedric Galecka. He was a student of Bernd Kuhn, but co-supervised by Svante Perbo, and he looked at persistent cerebellar molecular layer interneuron activity, which facilitates anticipatory tongue movement in mice. Sen Hadife. She studied with Professor Hiroshi Watanabe, and she looked at Krebs-mediated hypoxia response in Nematostella vectensis. The next student is unable to join us today, but that is Darshini Ravishankar. And working in the lab of Professor Ichiro Masai, she looked at dynamic change of microglial states across the onset of degeneration and Muller glia-mediated regeneration in a zebrafish model of photoreceptor degeneration. And yes, I abbreviated that one a lot. Next, with us today, Tatsuki Hamamoto. He was another student of Hiroki Takahashi, and he looked at quantum networks with color centers in diamond. Next, Sarika Sasidaran Nair. She worked with Thomas Bush, looking at topological properties of degenerate quantum gases in chronic penny-like potentials. Hi, Mom. Next, today with us, Oscar Juez. He worked with Professor Saze and looked at epigenetic dynamics of plant aging, nuclear envelope dysfunction, and the spatiotemporal modulation of DNA methylation in Arabidopsis thaliana. Lorena Andreoli. Supervised by Marilka Yoe Usisari and co-supervised by Jeff Wickens. She looked at the behavioral, I always get that wrong, and neurobiological mechanisms underlying different navigational strategies. Well done, Lorraine. Yongchae Liu. Working with Professor Yoko Yazaki Sugiyama, he looked at response properties of neurons in the higher auditory cortex of female zebra finches, Tenopigia guttata. Natalia Weber. She worked with Professor Tom Fraser to look at Learning to be Creative, a computational investigation of the role of associative learning in creativity. Good job, Natalia. Guanlin Chen. Guanlin Chen worked in the laboratory of Professor Fujie Tanaka, and he looked at catalytic enantioselective manic and retromanic reactions and combinations of these to synthesize alpha disubstituted alpha amino acid derivatives. Next, unfortunately not with us today, Shannon Hayashi. She worked with Tom Fraser on investigations into the neuroscience of the self, personality and age from the perspective of intrinsic neural timescales. The next student is also unfortunately not with us today. This is Aisha Achikbash. She worked with Professor Tim Ravasi to look at environmental DNA metabarcoding for monitoring marine fish assemblages and looking at range shifts in Japan. And our final graduate for today, Josephine Reuchenbach. She was a student of Professor Izumi Fukunaga, and she was investigating the neural and behavioral features of flexible task performance in the olfactory working memory task. Thank you, Professor Bush. Thank you, President Marquides. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me once again in applauding these graduates' achievements and in celebration of the award of their degree. Very well deserved. So, at this point, I will call on the Dean of the Graduate School to introduce this new segment of our graduation ceremony. Professor Bush.
One of the defining moments in our graduation ceremony is the transition from student to a member of the wider scholarly community. Today, our graduates are not stepping only into a global network. Today our graduates are stepping into a global network of researchers, innovators, educators, and leaders who shape how knowledge is created and how it is being used now and in the future. With this transition, and we have said this a couple of times before, comes both opportunity and responsibility. As researchers and scholars, our graduates join a global community that depends on intellectual rigor, on ethical reflection, and respect for the principles of research integrity. The discoveries they will make, the technologies they will develop, the questions they will ask, all of them will shape their fields and the societies we are going to live in. In recognition of this, our graduates will take part in a doctoral pledge. This pledge is a symbolic but deeply meaningful commitment to the principles that underpin responsible science and scholarship. Humility in the face of what we don't yet know yet, dedication to be careful and honest, and a commitment to use knowledge responsibly. It reflects the understanding that our scientific work does not exist in isolation. It influences communities, environments, technologies, and future generations. By signing this pledge, our graduates formally mark their transitions into the global community. It serves both as a sign of our times and as a personal reminder of the standards they carry with them as they move forward in their careers. I now invite one of our graduates, Yuki Tara, to deliver the doctoral pledge.
All graduates, please rise. In the presence of our peers, and as graduates of the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology, we recognize that the pursuit of knowledge is both a privilege and a responsibility. We pledge to uphold the values of intellectual legal, ethical reflection, and respect for the principles of research integrity. With humility and dedication to the best of our individual abilities, we affirm our responsibility as scientists and as graduates of OIST.
At this point, the graduating student representing all of our graduates today will sign the pledge book, followed by the Dean of the Graduate School, and then the President. In fact, all of our graduates will get an opportunity to sign this book, now or in the future. And the graduate student representative then hands the pledge book to the President, who accepts it, marking the solemn nature of this promise. Please take your seats. Sit. Please sit. Well, I think you'll all agree that this is significant and meaningful, and I hope it marks the start of a new tradition for the future. So, we have witnessed at this graduation ceremony the award of the degree for nearly 40 students today. While all of these achievements are special, each year we are happy to recognise that at least one of these is more special than the others. The Peter Groos Doctoral Dissertation Excellence Award, which has a long name, recognises the most outstanding thesis each year. I would like to call now on the Provost, Professor Amy Shen, to announce this year's award winner and to present the award certificate. Amy Shen.
Thank you, Harry. And I learned from my own past graduate students that this moment is always the most tense. So as always, choosing just one winner from so many exceptional theses was always difficult. After very careful deliberation, I'm very delighted to announce that the 2026 Peter Groos Doctoral Dissertation Excellence Award goes to Dr. Zhang Jiahao. His thesis title is very long. From bottom to top interfaces and layers, the holistic engineering approach for efficient, stable, and large area NIP structure perovskite solar cells. So as we know, perovskite solar cells have generated a lot of excitement. They can be highly efficient, potentially also low cost, could make clean energy far more accessible. But the challenge is turning lab for performance into real-world applications, such as preventing degradation, strengthening fragile interfaces, and scaling to large areas without losing stability. So what makes Jiahao's work stands out is how he embraced all these challenges. Rather than optimizing one ingredient at a time, he treated the solar cell like a living system, layer by layer, interface by interface, tracking down where performance is lost and where stability breaks, then engineering solutions that brings efficiency and durability together. So the result of his research doesn't just push a number higher. It brings the perovskite closer to being technology we can really rely upon. So the examiners praise his excellent experimental and analytical skills, problem-solving abilities, detailed and comprehensive research content, and noted his thesis as with logical flow, solid methodology, and impactful conclusions, calling this a very significant contribution to perovskite solar cell community. The panel also further commended his resilience and intellectual independence in successfully completing this work amid quite significant change, including the departure of his primary supervisor, Professor Yabin Chi, and his transition to a new unit under Professor Kabe 1 year before his graduation. So it now gives me great pleasure to present this very special certificate to Dr. Zhang Jiahao. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our excellent thesis award winner. That was well deserved. It was very difficult to choose between very many, and several of you were very close. I apologize for there only being one. So at this point, it is appropriate for the graduating students to reply to the messages we have received today. I would like to invite Dr. Yuki Tara to answer on their behalf.
My name is Yuki Tara. It is my great honor to speak on behalf of the graduating students today. When I was an undergraduate student, I had the opportunity to participate in the OIST Science Challenge, a workshop for university students. Although I am originally from Okinawa, it was actually my first time visiting OIST. To be honest, I was impressed by the campus surrounded by lush nature, the beautiful ocean spreading out before us, and the world-class research environment where disciplines come together. As someone who grew up in Okinawa, I realized that this island is deeply connected to the world through science. I felt completely overwhelmed in the best possible way. And I remember thinking how happy I would be if I could do my research here. That moment inspired me to begin my PhD journey at OIST. Fortunately, the feeling how happy I would be to do my research here is something I still carry with me today. My time at OIST as doctoral student has been deeply meaningful. Thanks to the strong, well-resourced, and trust-based research environment, I was able to take on challenging projects and push myself beyond my limits. The diversity of people and perspectives at OIST was a new and refreshing experience for me. And it had a profound impact on who I am today. Through working with people from different cultures and backgrounds, I learned the importance of developing my own ideas, expressing them clearly, and engaging in open and thoughtful discussions. As a result, the world has come much closer to me. Going abroad, sharing my research with the world, and discussing science with researchers from different countries no longer feel like something special or distant. Through my experience at OIST, I have gained a global mindset and learned to think beyond the boundaries of countries, cultures, and disciplines. During my PhD at OIST, I was fortunate to be involved in STEM outreach activities for students from kindergarten to high school, both in Okinawa and beyond. Through these activities, I met many inspiring students. Some, even a student in an arts program, became curious about science and began reconsidering their academic path. And others told me that they hoped to study at OIST one day. Seeing their curiosity and motivation grow was deeply rewarding and made me realize that my work could connect to the next generation. Through this experience, I came to understand that I want to contribute to society not only through research, but also through education. At the same time, this PhD journey was not always an easy one. I believe many of us here have faced our own challenges along the way. There were many days when things did not go as planned, days that were stressful, and when we felt discouraged or even alone. And yet we kept going. We learned how to face the challenges in front of us, how to think through problems, and how to move forward step by step. The environment at OIST challenged us not only to grow our knowledge and logical thinking, but also to develop resilience, problem-solving skills, and the courage to take on unexpected challenges. Most importantly, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all those who supported us along the way. The OIST faculty and administrative and support staff, our supervisors and lab members, our friends, and our families. We could not have done this without you. I would also like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank the Japanese government and the Okinawa Prefecture government for their continued support of OIST. Now, we are ready to take our next steps. Each of us moves into a new chapter, in new places, in new roles. The road ahead will continue to challenge us. But with pride in earning our degrees at OIST, and with the mindset we developed here to look ahead, to cross boundaries, to connect with the world, and to keep moving forward ourselves, I believe we will step forward with confidence and shape a better future. Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much, Dr. Tara. Yes, it's always bittersweet to say goodbye to each group. I've been with you for 5 or 6 years, and it's been great to see you grow, and I hope that we have, I'm confident, I know that we have equipped you with the skills you will need to go forth and thrive. So I wish you all the best. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the ceremony today. I'm sure you can all be proud of these new graduates, and we wish them the best as they venture into the wide world beyond. But I urge you all not to forget to stay with us, to stay part of the OIST community, the extended OIST family, to join our alumni as successful future entrepreneurs, leaders, scientists, and to come back and share your experiences with us. A very welcome part of the OIST community. Congratulations. And now, to formally mark the newly graduated students being admitted to the OIST academic community, as symbolised by the award of their degree and red bordered hood, they will now be part of the academic procession. So please follow the President and the Dean at the head of the procession. So please rise. So ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the academic procession. Okay, do your hoods and look forwards. Cheers. Thank you very much to our fabulous string quartet, Toguchi Kei on flute, Taba Takako on violin, Tsutsui Megumu on cello, on viola, Uehara Remi on cello, and joined by Shimabukuro Nami on sanshin. Thank you. Thank you everybody for joining with us today in celebration of the award of these degrees. Also thank you, of course, to our staff, and thank you to all members of the OIST community who have in some way contributed, either supervising these students, working in their labs with them, supporting them in so many ways. I would also like to thank our OIST Sanshin Ensemble and their dancers for the wonderful piece earlier, and of course our many supporters and generous supporters in government, in local government, national government, and for all our other sponsors and friends for their continued support of our mission. So the ceremony has now concluded. Photos with graduates will follow in the garden area, not so much, it's been a bit wet, and in the foyer areas outside, and also in the tunnel gallery. And there is a reception out in the covered walkway as well. So thank you very much for coming.